What's up guys, it's your girl Alethea and I am back for another video, and I haven't done a sit down video in a while, so yes, we're doing a sit down video and we have more of those coming. So if you are not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell so you'll be notified every time I come back with a new upload. As well as, and in addition to, go ahead and share and comment and like it. Yeah, oldies and newbies, yeah, go ahead and do that. So anyway, in this video I am going to share with you why I almost cut my 5-year-old locks. So if you're interested in hearing my story and what happened, then please continue to watch.
Take it away, feeling too good to me. Chilling all day, all in your space is what.
This part of the video has no sound because I had to disconnect my dead external mic and then I realized the sound did not come back. However, I kept this in because I wanted to show you guys the process of my hair and how it is in its current state. So this is the right side. Excuse that white stuff. It is from the minoxidil. It kind of gives a little build up. But here I'm showing you the clobetasol, I think that's how you pronounce it, and it's the alcohol-based product that I was prescribed to help with my hair, to help stimulate hair growth. And as you can see on my right side, it's very thin. I don't understand what happened. I don't recall a lock falling out, so I'm just so confused on that. My left side does go back a little bit further than the right side. So what I do is I just take the product and I put it on my scalp and then I rub it in, and I put it in the 3 areas that have the thinning problem, which is the top of my head right there in the front and then my 2 sides. So the minoxidil that I did get is the Hers brand. I went to the store. There was Rogaine, but they did not have Rogaine for women. And I did get this product from Walmart. I do not buy products like this from CVS and Walgreens because those stores are pretty high. And of course right now, or probably never, I do not plan on going into Target. But anyway, I just wanted to show you guys that process, and I do put this on my hair, on my scalp 2 times per day. Here we are. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about me and my hair and how I almost cut off, or why I almost cut off 5. So I got my locks established in 2019, 2021, 22, 23, 2008. So 5 years of locks. June will be 6 years of locks. Let me take out something I've noticed since I've been locked. This has nothing to do with my hair, but I have noticed that people that get their hair twisted, it seems like their hair grows faster than people that get their hair interlocked. And I finally figured out what it is. It's because of the method, you know, the method. Because when people get their hair interlocked, it's a lot tighter than when people twist. Anywho, that's neither here nor there. For a while now, I know it's been at least a year, maybe less than a year. I've been kind of keeping an eye. Well, since I've been locked, I've been keeping an eye on this middle part area of my hair. That's been going on since I've been locked. And I kept an eye on that part because, like I said, my mom and my aunt both had alopecia. Before they passed, my aunt had alopecia. Hers was worse than my mom's. My aunt was like completely bald up here, but my mom's hair was just really, really thin. So I'm no stranger to alopecia and how alopecia can do. But the sides and the edges of my hair, I was not worried about those because I wasn't seeing anything. The only thing it was my sides. They've always been like fine. So I didn't take that as, okay, there could be something going on, because they've just always been fine. They have never, ever, ever been as full as the other part of my hair. While I had hair of a good length, it was just not as full as my other hair. I don't know exactly when I really started to notice that it was getting, I'm not going to say worse. Yeah, I'm going to say worse. I don't know when I really started to notice that it was, not worse. don't know when I really started to notice when it was starting to bother me. Let's put it that way, when it was starting to bother me, because it didn't start to bother me until I realized when I was trying to do my hair, because I'm a side part girl. I'm a side part girl. I like my middle part. Don't get me wrong. I like my middle part, but thick through and through, I'm a side part girl. That's just the way it is. And I wasn't wanting to put my hair in my side part because it looked like my hair was like not, I was having to put more and more edge control, if you will, to kind of lay those sides down, because my hair, like, it was just even thinner. And so I was like, what is going on? And then here it's been in the last, I want to say maybe 3 or 4 months, if that long, where I have just really been rocking a middle part. And last week we went somewhere and I did me a side part. I was like, I'm gonna do me, we went on date night, and I'm like, I did me a side part. So I'm like, I want to do me a side part. I really miss having my side part. So I did me a side part. But anyway, so like I said, so before that though, my hair, it was starting to bother me. And one day, and I knew when it was getting bad, when there was one day I was at work, and I don't know why, but it just popped in my head, and I almost started to cry. And I had to literally hold back tears at work because I was just crying about my hair. I mean, I was just not crying about my hair, but so I felt myself about to just cry about my hair. And so I called my wife, because I know the last time I mentioned something about cutting my hair, she was against it. And while it's my hair and what have you, I just, felt like I was going to tell her. That's just like when my mom was living. I always told my mom before I cut my hair, because my mom used to have a fit when I cut my hair, because I always had long hair and she would have a fit. And so anyway, when I was talking to my wife and I told her, I said, I'm going to go ahead and cut my hair. And I had thought about before, a while back, I had thought about going to see a dermatologist. But then I was like, I hear people say things like, Black people need to go to Black dermatologists, white dermatologists really can't do anything for you, yada, 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 yada. I don't know. So, but I knew I wasn't about to be trying to, because I don't know, there may be a Black dermatologist here where I live at. I don't know, because I had never gone to a dermatologist in my life. My skin has always been great. I've never had psoriasis or eczema or anything like that. So I just have not had a reason, or even like I said, I have not had a reason to go and visit a dermatologist, right? So my wife was like, okay, go ahead and visit the dermatologist. And I was telling her, I don't know of a dermatologist to go to. And so my wife referred, because my wife has been going to dermatologists since we've been together pretty much. I don't know. It was just one day her skin was looking kind of funny, I don't know. And I was like, you need to check on that and see what's going on with your skin. And that was when she first went to the dermatologist and she found out she has rosacea. So she's been going to a dermatologist for years, and so she changed dermatologists because the one she was going to just was not fitting her needs. So she found another dermatologist, and so she sent me the number for me to go. And so I called them, and then I went last Monday, which was the 21st. I called them the week before that, and they gave me an appointment. And then I went to the appointment. And when I went there, the lady was telling me that there could be a number of reasons why, as a Black woman, I could have some issues going on. One of her first things she said, and I immediately shook my head no. One of the first things she said was traction alopecia from wearing your hair too tight. Baby, I'm tender-headed. I'm not wearing my hair tight. I am not. So I knew the traction alopecia, I had to go ahead and shut her down real quick. No, that is not what is going on with me. That may be what's going on with a lot of women, but that is not what's going on with Alethea. And so that I'm not gonna take that. I'm not gonna accept that. I didn't tell her that, but I just shook my head, basically to let her know that I knew it wasn't traction alopecia. So then she gave a couple of suggestions. She said that I could do the minoxidil and this topical. And she said it came in 2 formulas. The topical came in 2 formulas, an alcohol-based formula and a oil-based formula. And I just asked her which one does she recommend, and she said an oil-based formula. So I mean the alcohol. So that's what I went with, the alcohol. She also told me I could get a biopsy of my scalp, and you know, she could have done it right then and there in the office. However, that wasn't something I planned for. And when it comes to something like that, I got a plan. I got to get my mind right when it comes to somebody doing something, especially when it involves a needle. As many tattoos as I got, even though, and I have to embrace for those. I have to brace myself for those. But she was like, I could do that. And she also was telling me that there is also a treatment option that I could choose where it could be like little needles, pricks or something or whatever in my scalp. So there were a couple of options she threw out. So I decided to go with the option that I'm going with using the topical and the minoxidil for at least 3 months. So I'm going to do that for at least 3 months. I forgot to put this on. And so, but she did say if I decided that I wanted to go the biopsy route, I could come and see her before those 3 months were up, or before those 3 months are up. I'm speaking in the past. Like I said, I've been using it a week. And of course, I have not seen a change yet. I'm not going to sit up here and be like, oh yeah, I've noticed a change, when I have not. And I'm not looking for there to be a change within a couple of weeks, a week or so. So anyway, I was prepared though. Before my wife said something about going to see a dermatologist, baby, I was prepared to go ahead and cut my hair off, do a big chop again, and either wear my hair like I used to, or girl, just go ahead and join the wig crew. Even though I'm not a wig person, I was gonna do what I had to do, you know, depending on how I felt. So it is what it was, or it is what it is. But we're gonna go this route and see how this happens. You know, I've cut my hair many times, many times. Even like I said, to my mother's dismay, because my mother, baby, I look like I'm on what's that show, Handmaid's Tale, with this thing. But anyway, and you know, I've cut my hair many times, but there's a difference in there's a difference in you deciding to cut your hair and you having to cut your hair for certain reasons. And when I tell y'all, I was really about to be in tears that day, because it had welled up in my eyes. And the reason why, and like I said, because if I decide to ever get rid of my locks, it's going to be by me cutting them off. I'm just not about to sit and comb some locks out. However, thinking about cutting off some locks because that's what I choose to do, and cutting off some locks or cutting off hair, point blank period, because I have no choice but to. Those to me are 2 totally different things. One, I can prepare myself for. Both I can prepare myself for. Let me take that back. Both I can prepare myself for. But there's a difference in having to do something that you don't want to do versus doing something that you want to do. So, you know, like I said, like I was saying, and I don't want to ramble on and on. If it came down to me getting the biopsy, I will get the biopsy. If it comes down to me getting shots to stimulate my follicles, because she said, you know, my follicles are not dead because I do have hair. They've just slowed down basically, or something like that, she said. So, you know, basically, hopefully the minoxidil and the clobetasol will start to stimulate growth or start to open up my follicles to stimulate growth. That is the goal. But if they don't, then I'll have to go another route. So yeah, so that's where I am at with my hair. But I do plan on updating you guys on, well, once a month. Plan on updating you guys at my 1 month, at 2 months, and at 3 months, so we can see together how it's doing. You'd be amazed at the tangles that come in locks. All right, so there you have it. That is the story of me and my new hair journey. So I'm gonna call it a hair journey because I am embarking on something new that I really don't know what the outcome is going to be, but all I could do is hope for the best with the outcome. That is it. So thank you guys so much for coming to check out another video, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed, so that way you'll be able to keep up with me in this journey. And you need to go ahead and turn on those bell notifications, turn on and go ahead and click that bell so you'll be notified every time I come back with a new upload. Don't forget to share, comment, and like as well. So until the next time, and in between time, deuces. Peace out, Boy Scout.